If they don't wanna call my name, if they don't think that I'm beautiful, if they don't wanna see my face.
Hello, guys. Welcome to Conversations with the Imisioluwa. I am the Imisioluwa, and it's always a great pleasure to be doing this with you guys. I'm enjoying it more and more. It's becoming easier, when I started, I had to do a lot of mental preparation, but now, I think I'm getting the hang of it, and I want to thank you for the support. Thank you for always listening. Thank you for all the feedback, and I'm glad that these conversations, these thoughts mean a lot to you. I get a lot of people who, send me a voice note to tell me how much they've been able to learn. I guess some people just send me chats, some people comment on the website, and I also have some mentors who just send good messages, to continue, and I'm glad, I'm grateful. I think sometimes 2 weeks ago, my brother referenced something I said in the podcast, and I was like, thank you for sharing to your contacts. If you have not been doing that, please do that. It will be good to have a lot more people listen to these thoughts. And I believe that there's something in this podcast that people should listen to. Maybe not everybody would need it, but there are a lot more people on your contact list that need to listen to this. So, today's conversation, right? I'm back to my random thoughts. So, there are basically 3 series within the podcast. That's random thoughts, on which has to do with life, and Love Wednesday, which is on love, and then faith. So today we're back to random thoughts, or we're back to life. And I thought that I should consolidate on the first thing that I shared, which was the burden of new beginning. And okay, so this one is also about new beginnings, but there's a different twist to it, and it's something. So I wrote about it in Personal Notes, Volume 2, that I released in January. So please, if there are a lot of thoughts there, they are just random thoughts and the things that I learned throughout 2019. That was what I compiled there. It's on my website, www.theimisioluwa.com, where you get to download it or buy it, I think. So today I want to share the peril of new beginnings. Don't mind the name. It's just a simple thought, right? And so there's something about new beginnings that I also want to share, which should also be like an addition to the first things that I talked about. So I'll just go. As a younger child, I had issues with my handwriting. I mean, today some people say, "Oh, you have a nice handwriting." I'm like, you have no idea how far I have come to have that kind of handwriting. I grew up in this house. My dad had this amazing handwriting. My brother had amazing handwriting. It was just so amazing, and for some reasons, that kind of put a pressure on me, because when the first man in your life is doing something, and then your elder brother is doing something, I had a lot of those kind of pressures to deal with, to become this, to try to attain this, of course, because they were the ones that I was seeing in ahead of me. And for a long time, it was just the 3 of us and my mom. It was just the 4 of us. So there wasn't any other variation to try to draw inspiration, or to understand that I could be different, or to see that I didn't need to be perfect in everything to find value and worth. So I basically drew my sense of self-esteem and value to how much I'm able to do the things they did. So it was a whole lot of pressure, but that's not even the point. So I became uncomfortable with my handwriting, and I would go to school as a child, as a teenager, and I had this pressure just hovering over my head, and every day it was a race to do better. Every day was a race to just get it done. And of course, it was easier for both my brother and my dad because they were more meticulous. I was more of a carefree, kind of person. That sanguine type. Just have fun. Just do the needful, right? So I would go to school. I'll go to class every morning, and I would try so much to be able to write well. I'll try so much to be able to write well, but I realized that at every turn of the page, I was always hoping that I would do better. So it usually starts like, once I start the page, the writing the writing looks good, right? It looks good, but it was only a matter of time before I get to the middle of the page. I'm back to maybe I'm carried away or stuff, or I just couldn't keep up with all the kind of attention and energy that needed to sustain that. Or when you go to secondary school and you have to write a lot, I would start well, to at least to some extent, and by the time I get to the middle of the page, I was back to my usual handwriting. I'll try different style, but I found that every time I was always looking forward to the beginning of a new page, to a time where, especially when I'm turning the leaf, right, to a time where I wouldn't see the mistakes or the inadequacies or the bad writings of the previous pages. So every new page gave me this sense or this feeling that there was something new, that it was going to be better, that this was a fresh page. I didn't need to worry or to care about what happened, and just start on that. Sometimes when I'm starting a new note, I always have this determination that this book, I'm not going to write bad writing. It was going to be good, and all of that. And I found that kind of thing followed me through life, and I've seen a lot of people live life like that, where we are always looking forward to a new beginning so that we do not confront the current failures or our current inadequacies. So we're in a relationship and things are not going well, but there's this feeling that we just need to start another one. We just need to start again. So we keep abandoning situations and moments where we could have done better, or where we could have come face to face with our inadequacies and deal with them, because of the feeling that a new beginning will give us. There are a lot of times where we have set goals that we want to do this, like we want to do this for, say, this month. But because we got to the middle of the month and we have lost steam and we have forgotten, or we have made mistakes, or we have not kept up with that plan, we, instead of dealing with where we are, we kind of just keep looking to the beginning of the next month. I will start next month, or I will do it next year, or I will start on Monday morning. And so we have all of those beginnings, which are not bad in themselves, but we have all of those beginnings that we keep looking forward to, all of those beginnings that we keep thinking will be the birth of newness for us. And sometimes, when we get to that beginning, there's this inertial energy that we start with, but because we have not dealt with the inadequacies, we have not dealt with the reasons why we failed before, we have only just moved on because of that feeling that we're going to start afresh, we're going to start well, we're going to start new. We almost always repeat the cycle. We almost always sabotage ourselves. We almost always go back to do the same thing. But there's this kind of high we get, like when you're on drugs, when you are what do they call it now? When you are addicted, to that thing. We're addicted to new beginnings. We're addicted to the beginning of the year, the beginning of the month, the beginning of the week. We're so addicted to that we keep looking forward to that, and because of that, we keep denying ourselves of the opportunities we have to make changes today, to do better today, to get better, to make things happen today. We keep looking forward to that. And it becomes an addiction. We no longer focus on the specific steps to bring about our change, if we can achieve it or if we need to restrategize, but on that euphoria that the new beginnings will give us. And with this, we just keep that cycle again. It's one thing that I tell myself that, sometimes it's September, it's August, it's September, it's October, and it looks like the year is gone. Like you can't achieve any other thing again, or because you had 8 goals for the year and it looks like you are even far away from the energy and the thoughts that you had at the beginning. And now it's August, it's September, it's October, and then you're telling yourself, you know what, I'll just start next year. Next year, yeah, I will not do this, I will not do that. But we forget that now is the time for us to make a change. Now is the time for us to do better. Now is the time for us to make a change. We forget that if we are not able to, let's say there's 2 months left, whatever change, whatever newness, whatever resolution we're not able to carry out at that time with what time we are, with what we have left, there is no magical power that will just come upon us at the beginning of the year that will now make everything possible for us. There's no one, mysterious power that will now come upon us on Monday morning that will now help us save better than this Thursday or this Wednesday that we are making that decision. So this is it. If I make a decision and say that I want to start managing my finances properly, which starts with keeping proper records of my resources, my financial resources, cash flow, income, and expenditure and budget and all of that. Now, so if I make that decision on a Wednesday or on a Thursday, rather than say that, on Monday, especially when I have made that decision before and I have not followed through on it. So rather than say, I'll start next month, I'll start next week on Monday. When I now go, I will now plan it. Why not start at that time? Why not make that decision at that time? Because oftentimes what we need is that first start, to take that first action, or to deal with the challenge and ask ourselves, what are the things that have stopped me? But most times we will push that. We will say, Monday, assuming or thinking that the energies we had today would be there on that Monday, or that the fact that we feel like we are going to be able to do it means that we will just get it done. But I feel that we can always make that decision. Now we can make significant decisions of our life. We can start significant changes in our life at any freaking point in time. At any time, at any point in time of our life. It could be on a Tuesday afternoon, it could be on a Thursday evening, it could be 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning, it could be at any time. We need to deconstruct, or we need to lose that construct of time that we have in our minds, that construct of new beginnings that we have in our time. Some people need to make changes in their life, but they are looking forward to, they will start it next month. Now is the time to start it, or now is the time to make the plans. Now is the time to itemize the steps, the decisions, or the things to do. Now is the time to start test running that idea. You want to make a personal change, you want to do something. Why not start that? You want to start writing, and I'm not saying this should take over the place of planning. Sometimes you plan certain things for certain times. Sometimes because you want to be able to measure, you plan certain things for certain times. But I'm talking about that feeling that makes us want to push everything, or that feeling that makes us want to feel that just because it's the beginning, we'll be able to do it. We have resolutions. Just because it's the new year, we'll be able to, this year, I'm not lying, without dealing with the reasons why this year, okay, we just want to say, this year, I'm going to be saving a particular percentage of my income, without asking ourselves that, why am I not doing it now? Why have I not been able to do it now? What do I need to do now that will make that decision to work out when I want to start? Or why can't I start now? There are a lot of times that we're in relationships, we have friends, but we just think that it's that everything will be fine when we start new relationships. We just think that everything will be fine when we start new friendship, without asking ourselves and dealing with the issues we have. Why is this not working now? Why is this relationship not working? What are the specific issues? Is it just because I need to change the person? Is it just because, or is it just that feeling that if I meet another person, it will all be rosy? But the issue is, if we don't deal with those specific issues, now we would realize that we will also get to the same point where we are today with the other person. I've seen people jeopardize friendships, amazing relationships in their life because there are issues that they should sit down and deal with, but they just move on to the next person. They just move on to the next person. And at the end of the day, they keep, it's a circle that would complete, that will come back. It's a cycle that they would always go through, and they will still come back to that point. So until we deal with it, until we ask ourselves, and say, what do I need to do today? What are the circumstances that are making me get to this point over and over in my life? What do I need to change? Is it just about writing goals and saying, next year I'm going to start, next year I'm going to do this? Like I said before, I've always fallen for that, where I make plans, for a whole year, and then when I'm not able to do it, maybe at the middle of the year, and it looks like I can't achieve that goal that year again, maybe because of time or resources, and then the next thing I'm like, okay, I'll do it next year. But the thing is, I still have 6 months. My next year, the beginning of my next year does not have to be 1st of January. It can be at this time. And I appreciate something that DDK said in Activation Intense, where she said, chunk those goals. Start with 3 months. If you have to do a 1 month goal first, and put the plans and say, okay, I won't do this for 1 month. I won't do this in the next 3 months, instead of waiting for, say, the next year. My serious, I'll be a very serious person. But this is July. If you are not yet a serious person now, if you are not dealing with whatever is making you not be serious with your career, with your relationship, with your business and all of that, the chances are that by that next year that you think you will do it, you will still have not developed the capacity to make that change or to do it. So what am I saying? Now is the time to make the change. We can change our life. We can make important decisions of our life at any time. It doesn't have to be at the new beginning. It doesn't have to be at certain times. It doesn't have to be at some so-called important moments. It doesn't have to be that. We can make our changes. You can start changes. You can make decisions. You can start new trends for your life at any point in time, and you can always look back and deal with whatever issues. You can always deal with those issues now, without waiting till the day that by some miraculous power, mysterious power, something just happens, and then next year. It's going to be a new month now, and few days time, and a lot of people already have pushed a lot of things till the new month. A lot of things that we can start now, we have pushed it to the new month. Don't worry, new month, it looks, it just looks like, hey, that new month, my August, my different, like, I'm not even playing, but you can't start now. You want to take time off social media, you want to pay more attention to your mental health, you don't have to wait till next month. You need to do it now. Make that change now, make that decision now. And I feel that there are people who need to go back to the things that they wrote down at the beginning of the year. Some people have not opened those things since the time they lost steam, but you need to go back to those things. Some specific people listening to me now need to go back to those things they wrote down, those goals that you wrote down at the beginning of the year, those resolutions that you wrote down that looked like there's no way you will not achieve them, there's no way you would not follow through on them, but you have. In fact, you have forgotten some of those promises, some of those prophecies that you received in church, or that God told you to yourself. Those things, some people have forgotten. And I feel that you need to go back to those things. Just read it. There's something for you to see there. There's something for you to see there. There's something for you to read. There's something for you to be reminded of. So when you are done listening to this podcast, go back and pick those things you wrote, those things that got you excited at the beginning of the year, those reasons, COVID-19 notwithstanding, the entire lockdown notwithstanding. You need to go back to them. You need to carry those things again. You need to examine them again. You need to be reminded of the things God has promised you, the things that you have agreed to do, the height that you have agreed to, that you have decided to attain and all those beautiful things that you have written there. You need to go back. You have forgotten. You have ignored some of them. You have gotten carried away. You have gone on with life, but you need to go back there and realize that you can start now. You don't have to wait till next year. You don't have to wait till next month. Right now, you can make those changes. You can make those decisions. You can restart now, and all things can work together for your good. So that's my thoughts today. That's my thought. And for those of you that are asking what now happened with my handwriting, well, I guess it just at the point I just decided to just enjoy who I was. Of course, as I began to appreciate myself more, just decided to to just enjoy the moment. And I saw a lot more brilliant people who didn't have as beautiful handwritings as I have, because somehow it just looked like, if from my background, it just looked like if your handwriting was not perfect, you were not intelligent. But along the line, I saw amazing people whose handwriting were not as amazing. While I appreciate that people should write intelligibly, but these days all of those things have worked together. The handwriting is not that bad. Who even spends time to write these days when we're all typing? But it was an experience, and maybe someday I would do a podcast and talk about it. Self-esteem, expectations, and all of that. But the point is, we can make changes. We can change our lives. We can make important decisions. We can start afresh. We can make things happen for ourselves now, at this moment, without always pushing for that new beginning, or waiting to start at the beginning of the week, at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of this, at the beginning of that. And so that's it. Thank you for listening. I am the Imisioluwa. Please do not forget to share. Do not forget to comment. Please comment. Let me know that it means something to you. Let me know if you're blessed, if it inspired you to do something differently. So this is Conversations with the Imisioluwa. Take care of yourself, and I love you plenty.